Baby? Starting? 13 people already in. Hello, is this thing on? Hello? What's going on? Welcome. Hey, I think it's working. How are you guys doing? Oh, I didn't think I was going to make it here today, but I did. Welcome to the Laser Livestream. My name is Gil Posnanski. I come to you every 2 weeks to sit down and talk all things lasers and creativity and learning and safety and all those things that I like to do. It is just very interesting day. I'm sure a lot of people have been listening to the news. I myself got a little bit lost track of time. Time got compressed for me this afternoon because I was watching what was going on. But you know what? It's great to be able to be here and talk about something that I'm so passionate about, which happens to be about lasers, and maybe just a little bit. Maybe we'll even sneak some movie references in. So we'll see what's going on there. It is so cool to have you all here. If this is your very first time to the Laser Livestream, welcome. You're a brand new Laserologist. I see a whole bunch of names right over there that some of them I haven't seen before, some I have. But it's so cool. I would love it if you're in the chat room and this is your very first time, put a big first in capital letters, FIRST, so we can come and welcome you and actually christen you a brand new Laserologist for the Laser Livestream. It is awesome that you're here. First of all, before we even started, we have Peter. Did Peter come? Yeah, there you go. Peter, brand new Brand new Laserologist came. I think it was your first live stream last time. We had a great time. We got to know each other a little bit. Also a man who loves science fiction films. So, hey, man, I gotta love that. And Peter was in here bright and early to catch a live stream. I believe in the Netherlands, though, it's first thing in the morning. So I do appreciate the fact that you are here. So it's awesome. We also have Bill, and I think Bill is a brand new Laserologist. First time he's here. In fact, I'm looking down a little further. I have a screen here with all the chats, and I see that it's the first time he's ever been here. So Bill, I'm assuming 2 a.m. You must be in the US. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you so much for coming in. It's good to see you. You're probably going, what the hell's a Laserologist? What's this guy talking about? And why does he talk funny like that? Well, I talk funny like that, first of all, because I'm coming to you from Melbourne, Australia. I've got a feeling it's the other side of the planet from where you are right now, Bill. And you are a Laserologist. And by coming over and hanging out with us here on the Laser Livestream or watching some of the tutorials on the YouTube channel, you are now one of the community, and we have been dubbed the Laserologist, right? So it is awesome to have you here. If you haven't done it before, definitely come and hang out with us on our Facebook group as well. And we'd love to see what people create. And I think I'm excited for you if this is your first time here on the Laser Livestream. I gotta be honest with you. I am excited. You're probably thinking this guy's a lunatic, but that's okay. Welcome, Bill. I'm so glad to meet you, my friend. And it's awesome. Stuart's here too. I haven't seen Stuart in ages. Could have been like last week, but thank you so much, Stuart. Hope you're having a great week, my friend. Looking forward to seeing what you've made recently as well. Now, I'm going to assume that Frank 708 has popped in and said hello to me and to everyone who's here. So, hey, Frank, how you doing? I'm wondering, is Frank... I've got a feeling Frank's been here before. Frank, let me know if this is your first time here. Either way, so glad you've turned up. So glad you're hanging out with us. It is awesome. We've also got Audrey. Audrey's coming in again all the way. She must be local. She's in Melbourne. Saying hello to everyone. That's awesome. Peter's coming in sharing with us that he's from the Netherlands, which is, you must be thinking right now, right? Netherlands, it's a little, things are getting toasty over there. Telling you, man. Everyone should just get along. We're talking lasers here. If I'm a little distracted, I apologize. But yeah. So let us know that you're safe over there in the Netherlands, Peter. Mike, one of the founding Laserologists and members to the Laser Livestream, Mike and his amazing wife come in all the time. I don't know if she's going to be here today, but we were able to get her to come and play with the laser. So that's awesome. Mike, I hope you're doing really, really well. And Annette coming all the way from South Africa. And I've got a feeling, Annette, hi, looking forward to this. I'm glad you're looking forward to it too. I have a guess that you is Annette. And can I be upfront with everyone here? It is it's a case that I'm terrible with names. I'm great with faces, and all I get right here is someone's name. So Annette, if you've been here before, I do apologize. But if this is your first time, welcome. Either way, welcome. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad you were able to hang out with us. That is awesome. Mike, some feedback. The countdown was running smoothly. It's a funny thing. The countdown that was on last week that actually caused all those problems happened to be my old countdown from the first year of the live stream. And for some reason, it ended up getting pinged by YouTube every time I did a live stream. And they pinged me again, and that's when I realized what was going on. So I was able to get the second generation music, which has never been flagged, and I have a license for it, so that's not a problem. And of course, it went smoother. See, the machines know. But thank you so much for letting me know what's going on there. Round, hey Round, I know you. Your name I remember. Welcome back. You're coming in all the way from the UK. Thank you so much. It must be early there too, so I do appreciate you coming in. Stuart sharing that it's all working loud and clear. Thank you so much. Bill letting us know that it's his first live stream. We were talking to Bill just before, but welcome. And Brian also saying that he's the first one. Brian, welcome to the live stream. It's good to see you. You're a Laserologist. Thank you so much for coming on board. I'm looking forward to getting to know you guys a little bit. Peter saying, yeah, it's all true. It's 8 a.m. over here in the Netherlands. It is early. It's 6 p.m. here, so it's kind of weird, man. It's the world is a small place, and then it gets all big and all the rest of it. So so we'll see what's going on. All right. So Bill's also sharing with us that he just recently got his first laser, which is a Sculptfun S9, and he's on the Facebook group. So that's awesome. We use a machine here called the Emblazer, but it's a diode laser just like yours, so you will get a lot out of these as well. But it's going to be awesome to be able to see what you've made, especially share everything on the Facebook page. I'm a big believer that if you create something, there's always an audience, and you'll see, since this is your first time here live, how excited I get on seeing other people's work. Dave, what's up, Gil? Not much. You know, just hanging out with my friends, talking about the thing that I enjoy the most. So I hope you're doing good, Dave. I hope you had a good 2 weeks since I saw you last. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And we've got Ice Cream, who says hello from Italy. We're getting an international audience here. It is awesome to be able to see all these people from all around the world coming together just to, you know, hang out and talk about lasers and laser technology. It's going to be some exciting stuff here today. Let me tell you, we're going to be talking about what everyone talks about, which is laser tiles and getting them to become color. We're going to hang on. We're going to do a few things before that. Peter saying we're all lunatics. Well, maybe I'm the bigger lunatic, but yes, we're all lunatics. That's fine. Bill saying maybe a laserologist, but definitely a laser lunatic. Well, I don't know. There you go. Audrey's also saying laser lunatics. Maybe I'm going to call it, I'm going to stick with the laserologist, but maybe we're all laser lunatics. Not worried, but he's an idiot, says Peter. Jen's running late. We are well. I'm glad. We all know Jen, and I just haven't seen her for a while, so that's kind of cool. Kaylee coming in, and also, Kaylee Duff. I think, Kaylee, are you a new person? Is this your very first time here at the Laser Livestream? If so, put in a first in the chat room so I can welcome you properly. But coming all the way from BC, Canada, like I said, real international audience today, which is awesome. And it's Frank from Darkly Labs. That's it, 708. Of course, I was like, something in my brain fired. Frank, so good to see you. I know Frank. I was able to catch up with him the last time I was at Darkly. So great that you're here, man. And thank you so much for actually saying hello. I know it's so easy just to make this a one-way street, but I actually like the fact when we converse. So thank you so much for coming out of the darkness and saying hello. And Frank's not a laserologist, he's a laser master, so that's kind of cool. Let's see what else is going on. Malcolm, it's not a live stream unless Mal comes in from Gypsy. Hey everyone, glad to see that you're here as well. Rick Baker, the international makeup artist, Rick Baker. See, I got a film reference in there. You guys know. Rick, I've got a feeling Rick Baker on my live stream, definitely a first time. Welcome, Rick. You are now a laserologist. So glad that you came in and were able to say hello. I know it's late in Florida, so I do appreciate it. It's awesome to see you. Audrey's also saying it's so cool to see so many people all over the world. And Wayne Dublin, coming in and saying he's just learning about lasers. He's got a 60-watt machine. 60 watts, lots of power, dude. You can smash through a whole lot of stuff. Looking forward to see what you create, and especially your journey as you learn how to kind of, finesse the laser. Don't have to make it work so hard on all the projects, but you've got it sounds like a powerful machine there, so it's kind of cool. Kaylee saying that it is her first time, and it's Kaylee, but spelled, it's Kelly. I'm a little bit of a science fiction fan, and I like a show called Firefly, and there was a character called Kaylee, but I will call you Kelly. No problems. Thank you so much for fixing it up. Names, faces, but I appreciate it. So it's all very cool. And Wayne's coming in from the US as well, which is great. So you know what? Everyone's here. It's so cool to see everyone together. I really do appreciate you all coming in, especially on a day like this where there's so much going on in the world and everyone's, taking a look. Oh, you see, look at this. That's terrible, man. I apologize. Well, Kaylee on the show was a girl, but that's okay. It's Kelly. Thank you so much, man. Don't take it the wrong way. Not that there's anything wrong with it, but I appreciate you just making sure that everyone knows what's going on. There's Bill. Everything's shiny, baby. Not in a laser, with a diode laser. If it's shiny, it doesn't cut, but we'll work it out. Wondering if there's any shows you don't like, says Peter. Well, you know what? There's a few. But my enthusiasm for lasers. If anyone's actually seen my original review for the Emblazer 2, I even worked in a science fiction movie reference at the beginning of that. So there you go. There's, when you're talking about lasers, we're talking about the future. We're talking about science. And I get incredibly excited about that. All right, let's move on a little bit. Before we go any further, though, this whole thing is made possible by some really amazing technology companies, and I want to thank them for sponsoring this laser live stream. I want to shout out to Darkly Labs, home of the Emblazer range. If you're looking at getting a diode laser, maybe for your office, maybe it's something that you want to dabble in, maybe you're a teacher or you've got children and you want to explore laser technology with them, check out the Emblazer range. You can see that at www.darklylabs.com. I have an Emblazer sitting literally, I've got my hand on it. I'm going to tap it right now. Don't know if you can hear that or not, but that Emblazer is right next to me and I use it almost on a daily basis. They're definitely worth checking out, so go and check them out. The other company that I want to thank is Lightburn Software. Lightburn is the software that runs the Emblazer and a whole bunch of other lasers. If you are serious about getting the most out of your laser and understanding how you can become absolutely creative using a laser, you want to check out the Lightburn software. A lot of my tutorials, a lot of stuff that I do is based around Lightburn. I started using lasers quite some time ago. I've mentioned it many times on the stream. I used to use a thing called Kanban. I used to use a thing called Inkscape. Every time I wanted to make a change, every time I wanted to do something, it was crazy. It was like, not only was it hard to do, but setting up layering. Kanban was CAM software. We modified it to use a laser. The whole difference that I just as a maker, just being creative, getting results quickly out of Lightburn. I know most people use it. Most people are here because of it. But if you haven't checked it out, go download a 30-day trial and see how it's going to change how you operate your laser. It's pretty cool. Audrey saying, you're really trying to get those sci-fi references in? Don't shame me, bro. Don't shame me. I am who I am. Mike's going, Power Rangers. You know what? That's close to one that I don't like. The Japanese version. Yes. The original Japanese version. The Saban English version where they just kind of cut in Western actors, not so much. And Mike also sharing the two great companies that work really well together. Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, we even had the founder of Darkly Labs talking about the relationship with Lightburn, where Lightburn very early on sent a copy of the software just to see if a company would be interested in using it for their laser. Immediately said, let's work together. I think they were using LaserWeb before that, which is another piece of software. It's still around. It's free. It's very simplistic, but Lightburn took it to another level, which is kind of incredibly awesome. So we want to thank the sponsors because without them, we wouldn't be here, and that is amazing. Now, if you're here for the very first time, I like to set my intentions of what we are or what we would like to achieve. Not what we are, but yeah, what we like to achieve, both as the live stream and as a community, because I think it's really important that everyone knows the direction that we are aiming for. So our very first intention with the Laser Livestream is to build a creative and interactive laser community. We want people who are going to share their journey, share their issues, reach out, speak to people, share their projects, and just basically be part of an amazing community, which, we are building all the time. So that's our very first intention. Foundation of that is the live streams. We have a Facebook group. We have the tutorials. We've got some really exciting things coming. I'm itching to pull the trigger on something, and it just isn't there yet. But I think it's going to change how we all interact. So it's going to be really, really amazing in that sense. We also, our second intention is to support laser users, whether or not you'll use a CO2 laser, a diode laser, a fiber laser, whether you are, just starting out, you're a laser master, a laserologist for life, whether you use a CD laser, a laser pointer, a fiber optic laser. It doesn't matter. If you use a laser, we want to support you and we want to support your journey. So don't feel that just because maybe you've got a diode laser and some other people are talking CO2, or possibly the other way around, we don't care. We are here to learn together and to support one another. So we are supporting all laser users here on the Laser Livestream. Our third intention is just to share knowledge. Not everyone knows everything. I'll be the first one to say I will always share what I absolutely love about lasers, but I've learned so much from this community and from the people who have shared their knowledge. So we openly share knowledge with absolutely everyone. And the last intention here is we learn from everyone. It doesn't matter if this is your very first time to the stream, first time posting, maybe to the Facebook group. It really doesn't matter. We are here to learn from everyone, and it is awesome. It is an absolutely awesome ride. So they're the intentions. We do this every stream so everyone knows what we're creating here. And you know, if this is your first time, you'll be like, wow, that's pretty cool, but how do I get involved? What's this involvement? Community. You keep talking about community, Gil. Well, we're going to share with you how you can get involved, and we're going to do that right now. So first of all, how do you get involved? If you haven't before, if this is your first time here, please consider hitting that subscribe button, because this will help the Laser Livestream project. You know, YouTube's a big place. There are a lot of people talking about a lot of things. And unfortunately, for YouTube, the best way to get the word out is to have as much interaction as you possibly can. Wow, look at that. Hang on, I'm going to stop that right now, because this is wow, total siege. Thank you so much, man. Look at that. That is what we call a super chat. We were going to just talk about that. You are awesome, my friend. You just basically someone just threw down a donation through YouTube to thank. I appreciate that. That actually has not happened in a very long time. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate it. That's, you know, it's one thing to come in, put the likes, put the chats, come ask help, but when people put their hand in their pocket, it takes it to a whole nother level. I have to acknowledge that, and that's awesome. Total, you are awesome. Thank you so much, my friend. Whew. See, I'm getting flustered now. You want to see Gil flustered? You just do stuff like that. Let's go back to how to get involved. So, of course, as I was saying before, if this is your first time, hit that subscribe button. That tells YouTube and Google people are coming in, people are watching. This is kind of an awesome thing. So feel free to do that. And of course, chat. This is what I love about the difference between doing a tutorial. I mean, I love the comments. I'll get back to all of them. And I spend quite a bit of time trying to answer everyone's questions. But this right now, in real time, that is the best, man. So take this opportunity. Definitely go and hang out with everyone and chat in the... I personally love having the conversation that we actually are having. Now, for some people, they're not familiar with YouTube, or they don't have a YouTube account. You can still contact us at laser.livestream@gmail.com. In fact, one of our favorite laserologists who actually sent something in last week, which is going to be showcased, all her projects turned up through email, and we have a fantastic relationship. Literally, it all happens via email. So definitely don't be afraid to do that. We also have a Facebook page. So you might want to go and check us out at www.facebook.com/groups/Laser Livestream. That is the Laser Livestream group. I haven't changed the card, but we actually have a page as well, which we just started last week, which is a place to get all the information that you may want when it comes to the live stream community. So videos going up, tutorials going up, there's photos of people's work, some of the things that I'm doing behind the scenes. So check that out. If you just look for Laser Livestream, you'll see it'll say Laser Livestream fan page. Please go over there, give it a like, give it a follow. Again, it all helps to push this project as far as possible. We also have a Instagram and a Twitter. All of those things are active. Laser Livestream is the name, and on Twitter it is Laser Livestream as well. So guys, you can do that to basically get involved with what's going on here live. And you know what, I'm kind of, Total Siege already did it, but there's two other ways that you can actually support this project. One is the same way that Total Siege did. This amazing thing right here. Whoa, David as well. Wow, guys, you are really wow. I'm kind of speechless, but David as well. Look at David throwing down a amazing super chat live, basically saying thank you. That is definitely one way you can support this project. Part of it goes to me, part of it goes to YouTube, but all of it is, I feel that all 100% the love that is going on. Thank you so much, David Lawrence. I really see, I don't get flustered too much. You fluster me when you do that sort of stuff. And the other thing is that if you do want to support the project as well, down below in the description, there is a one-time donation. Wow, we just lost everyone. Great. Okay, I don't know if that's working or not. I think it is. Guys, let me know if you're there. I'm seeing lots of people saying, probably truthfully too, that Ginger just said the same. That was, my computer just shut down. I have no idea why. Never happened to me before. And we are back. Yeah, we're back, baby. We're back. We are back. I think I got too excited. I got too excited about all the support. Or maybe YouTube doesn't want me to have too much support. But either way, it's don't worry about it. I think in the history of the Laser Livestream, that's the first time that a machine ever shut down on me in the middle of things. But as I was saying before, just very, very quickly, wow, everyone's gone. Like, I hope everyone's still around, but we'll see what happens. If you want to support all the everything that comes into the live stream goes back into the live stream. So it's either through the donations. Sorry, see, I got a little flustered. I get me all flustered when I talk about money. It's either equipment, it's materials for the laser, and you know what? I just love being able to bring all this stuff back to you. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you especially to both David and Total. Both of you guys are awesome. Total Siege, man, I haven't seen you in a long time, and I really, really appreciate the fact that that you threw down what you did. So that's kind of cool. Your computer was so overwhelmed with gratitude from the super chats, it crashed. There's Jen. I love that comment. She's 100% correct. I think I got a little overflustered with it all, and it felt what was going on. So it's kind of crazy. We are definitely back. Peter's saying thank you so much. Picture's not as clean as before, but we'll get there, says Mike. All right, well, you know what? Let's see how it goes. I know I literally just turned the machine back on, did a quick reboot, and just kind of like, it sends, what do you call it? Like bits all the way to the internet and then to YouTube and then kind of resends it to everyone. So I'm assuming that we'll build up that bit rate again. So we'll see what's going on. We had a lot of people here. I'm hoping they will be back. So we'll see what happens. That was probably the highest amount of people I had in the chat room at any time. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. It's okay. It's all good, baby. It's all good, right? That's how we roll. All right. Give me 1 second because I just want to make sure that this is working. I think it is. So let's go jump into what we're going to be doing today. Let's talk about what's going to happen. So on the show today, we have first up, and we do this all the time, we have the Laserologist Showcase, where we show projects that laserologists have created in the last month last 2 weeks in between the live streams. Then we are going to talk about instant color tiles, how you can create laser tiles that have color instantly, but it's going to be awesome. We also are going to talk about the Laserologist Challenge. Laserologist Challenge. There you go. See, why did we name everyone such a hard word? I think you guys picked Laserologist just to try and throw me. But we are going, this month is the very first Laserologist Challenge. It's open to anyone. We have a very interesting prize, which we'll talk about. And that is going till the first week of March. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what people come up with. And of course, like always, we're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of laser material. What you should put into your laser, what you shouldn't put into your laser, and what you definitely should not. So that's what we're going to do. I'm holding my breath that nothing is going to happen and we're not going to fall off again. But it is super exciting to be able to do that. And since we're right here, right now, let's jump straight into it. Because laserologist sounds so cool. Is that what you're saying, Audrey? That's awesome. Yeah, but you know, sometimes you gotta You gotta say it, but you gotta say it kind of in a weird way. Olivia Chapman, I've got a feeling Olivia's a brand new person. I don't know what VYN means. What does VYN? Someone let me know. That'd be kind of awesome to find out what VYN means. But let me know. Olivia, is this your first time here? If so, welcome aboard. Great to see you. Love that I've just met someone new who loves lasers, but it's awesome to see you and have you aboard. You're a brand new laserologist. And Jen says that Audrey's not wrong, and that it sounds good. So I'm glad to hear that's all going. Let's jump into, because I just don't want everything to fall apart again. Let's jump into the Laserologist showcase and see some of the work that some amazing people have made in the last 2 weeks. So very first off, we've got Serena, and Serena made this amazing chopping board. And that chopping board has the Cowboy's Prayer on it, which I thought was really cool. Just, this is the fine work that you can do with a laser. I thought this, I really like this chopping board. In fact, there's a lot of stuff here that a lot of people have made using their lasers. Sorry, I just realized. Oh, Peter was saying that I'm gone again. I don't think so. I think I'm still on. Let me just jump back in here. Peter, can you not see what's going on here? Maybe he's got a... Gone, Peter? He's still here for us? Okay, I can still see the stream. Cool. I just saw that out of the corner of my eye as I was talking. I just want to make sure that it was all working. I get nervous when Peter says something like that's going on. This time it was me. That's okay, man. That's all good. But you're an important part of the stream, man. I want to make sure everyone's here. You know what's going on. You're back? Great. Let's jump into it. So as I was saying, Serena did this amazing chopping board using the Cowboy's Prayer. That's a prayer I believe that Roy Rogers used to say, which is really, really awesome. So that's cool. Great work. I like the fact that the engraving on the prayer is so deep. And I don't know if Serena is actually watching this, but if you are, I'd love to know in the comments whether you treated the wood before you actually put it into the laser. But we'll see what's going on. Great work. Well done, Serena. Now, Scott Koenig, Commander Koenig himself, he actually shared 2 projects in the last 2 weeks. One is what he called a impromptu burn, and that happens to be on the left-hand side, this slice of a tree, which he turned into a necklace, which is totally awesome. And he also is making an enclosure for his laser cutter. And I think this is really, really interesting because I love to see how people are actually utilizing their equipment and also building safety features around it. I love the idea of enclosing your laser for 2 reasons. One is optical safety, so you can actually use polycarbonate so that you don't get flashed by the laser. And the other one is venting. Commander Koenig could actually put a small fan and an outlet at the back of his enclosure and actually take off or extract a lot of the I guess anything that comes off what he's burning. And if he's actually using a piece of wood, then there is quite smoke particles and all the rest of it. You don't want to have that in your home. You don't want to have that in an enclosed area. But by actually isolating your laser in an enclosure is a very smart thing. So I am really, really cool. I think it's really cool to see the Commander Koenig, or Scott, I like calling him Commander Koenig, you all know why, is actually taking the time out to build that enclosure. Good job, my friend. I'm looking forward to see how you finish it and whether or not you're actually going to put in a fan. It'd be kind of really interesting to see what this looks like when it's finalized. All right, we got Prem. And Prem is a brand new laserologist, very new to the Facebook group as well. And he's been working hard. I love the wolf on the left-hand side. And you can also see that there's a very, very cute teddy bear. Both these things done with diode lasers. Both of these very early projects. And they're awesome. They're just awesome projects to take a look at. So Prem, again, you don't have to do something spectacular as your first projects, but definitely the wolf on the left-hand side, and I love the fact that you've been using the fill command to actually bring some texture out on this piece. It is really awesome. All right, let's move on. Mike's again another brand new laserologist, and I've seen a lot of these recently, and I love the idea of taking old recipes that grandma or grandmama had written down. You know, they get a little marked and ravaged by time, and then you take them, scan them, and then actually laser them onto a cutting board. I think that's a really cool thing for so many different reasons. So it is really awesome to be able to see this type of work for a number of reasons. One, it's going to last a long time, a lot longer than the piece of paper, and you can actually create almost like an heirloom for a family, especially if it's a recipe that is so well loved. So Mike, I love this piece. This has actually got me thinking very creatively about a project that I might kind of work out what's going on. And with this project, I kind of have an idea. And when I saw this, it gave me some inspiration. Probably not from the past, maybe from the future. But either way, it's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens with that. Great job, Mike. Really good job. As I said, there's lots of wood in the Laserologist showcase, and Marcos, who I think is in Melbourne now, he's awesome. He, I believe, uses the laser for work, and this is something that he does professionally. And you can see here, Marcos has a whole bunch of wood boards. I almost thought they were pizza boards with the handle, but of course they're wood. And you can see the amazing finish they have with these boards. Again, this is something maybe Marcos wants to put some recipes on or something like that. You never know. It'd be really cool. Excuse me 1 second. I just need to get a quick mouthful of water, and I'll be back in a sec. Excuse me for doing that. But yes, Marcos, great work. I've really enjoyed seeing Marcos's journey over the last couple of months, actually. He joined at the end of last year, and it's just, oh man, it's so awesome. So awesome. And our very own Mal, who is in the chat room right now, Mal also took his hand and basically tried to do some engraving on a chopping board. I think there's a chopping board. Is that a chopping board, Mal? You let us know. Beautiful roses at the end. But if you look to the left-hand side, around the hole where you would hang the board, Mal has some writing over there, which I thought was really, really creative. I can't tell what it actually says. Maybe Mal's in here and he'll be able to share it with us. But it is really cool to see. You know, there's seen this theme in the last couple of weeks of a lot of chopping boards, a lot of wood, and it's great to see everyone's take on it. It is really good. Audrey saying it's a good week for a chopping board, and maybe not. Maybe you don't want to be a chopping board this week. But as a bit of a change, Dor, who is again one of the early laserologists who has been working with laser tiles, these 5 tiles blew my mind. They blew my mind for the simple reason that they almost look like the old pictures that you find in old tomes. The engraving and the effect that Dor has been able to create, it looks almost like an ancient image that you would get in these old tomes. It is awesome to see the journey where Dor started and now where he's at. These things are fabulous. I have a sneaking suspicion maybe they're even scans from old books, the way they're actually kind of laid out, but you've dialed in those settings perfectly. It doesn't look like it's a strong printing press. It actually looks like these images have faded over time, and they're amazing, man. I got to be honest with you, the fact that you are able to create that sort of image on a tile, pretty amazing. Now, Mal said, yes, the words on the handle hole is the type of wood. Oh, awesome. Camphor laurel. Okay, so you're actually identifying the wood that's made for the chopping board. That's awesome. Thank you so much for letting us know, Mal. Let's move on. Get some inspiration. Dean Stanford, again, a very new laserologist to the Facebook group, has been trying his hand at laser tiles. This time, he actually used some glow-in-the-dark paint and then used some black over the top and then actually controlled the laser to be able to just remove the black. These things look fantastic. This is an awesome, awesome project. You can see it obviously glowing on the left-hand side. On the right-hand side, that's what you see during normal light. This has inspired me. I've got to go and get some sort of, I got to get some paint, man. I got to try this out. I'm actually thinking about using a QR code that I've done before for tiles, but I thought to myself, wouldn't it be cool if you could do that with glow-in-the-dark paint? Someone comes up at night and there's a QR code just looking. That would be awesome. Scare the hell out of a few people, especially if you got COVID, but that's another story altogether. Ding, great job. Love how you've been able to use a different medium to take this image and make it pop. Awesome. Thank you so much. I will share with you what I come up with. And Amber, who's been around for quite some time, also one of the first people to do the Secret Santa project last year, has been playing with her diode laser, and you can see a number of chopping boards and a request. Awesome work here. I know that Amber also shared that she uses a sheet of paper to control the laser and the kind of the overburn as such, to be able to create such dark engravings. I'm looking forward to speaking to Amber. I would love to get her on the show, on the program, so that she can talk about how she actually creates these amazing cutting boards. And you can see the work that she's been doing. You can actually see behind the first picture her laser. I think it's an auteur laser. It looks very much like one of what she's using just a diode laser to be able to create that piece. It's pretty awesome. Thank you, Amber. Get in touch. I'd love to do a Skype with you. Let's go share your magic with everyone on the stream. Oh, and of course, Elaine. Everyone, I saw people were talking about Elaine. So Elaine sent me one of her next projects that she has for a grandchild. But she doesn't just show us a photo. This happens to be a brain puzzle. And, well, why don't we just let Elaine show you for herself. I love the detail in her projects. Such awesome creativity. It's so awesome. Elaine always makes these incredible gifts for her grandchildren and her children. I have no idea. I'm assuming that maybe they are interested in medicine or science or anatomy, but this project is awesome. And again, I love the lateral thinking that Elaine has to be able to go and take her laser and create these amazing projects. It's an amazing idea. It's an amazing execution. And I just always speechless. One day, I'm telling you, get her onto this live stream so we can actually talk to her in person. But thank you so much, Elaine, for sharing those projects. You sent me a number of projects, and we're going to show some more of those a little later across the next couple of live streams. I was going to say months, but it's live streams. So it is just always a pleasure when I see Elaine's name come up in the Laser Livestream email account, because I know there's going to be something interesting that's going to come. Look at that. Look at the great feedback here. Stuart saying, again, Elaine blowing my mind, which is very cool. Epoxy also sharing amazing work. And Peter saying, I love the 3D in the puzzle. Yeah, all the pieces. Absolutely. Audrey saying that has to be a gift for a science lover. And it's just, we see a lot of similar projects, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because when you get inspired to be able to go and work and recreate something that you've seen, you're able to put your own spin on it. What I love about Elaine's work as well is not only is she putting her own spin on it, she's actually she's taking, let's say, a puzzle idea and making it her own. And that's incredibly inspiring, So Elaine, thank you so much. Really appreciate it. It's awesome. All right. That happens to be the Laserologist showcase for this month, why don't we jump into what a lot of people I'm sure are waiting for, and that happens to be color laser tiles. Check this out. I had a chat during the week with a good friend of mine, Chris from Darkly Labs. He's been working on this technique that allows you to create a laser tile with color as you laser it. So unfortunately, Chris couldn't make it live, and maybe given the fact that the computer all crashed and all the rest, it was the best thing. So let me present and introduce Chris from Darkly Labs and the Fordite method. First of all, Chris, thank you so much for coming onto the Laser Livestream. For those of you who haven't met Chris before, he's one of the designers at Darkly Labs, our friends at Darkly Labs who are behind the Emblazer range of laser machines. We are not going to talk about the Emblazer, but we're going to talk about a brand new technique that you have spent some time, I don't want to say designing, but really researching. And it's a really unique technique. Chris, would you like to introduce what it's called and how it works?
Yeah, sure. I've dubbed it the Fordite technique for lack of an actual name. I don't want to take too much credit for it. I've seen it. I've seen people experimenting with engraving colors and colored tiles on YouTube, that sort of thing. But I always thought there was a real potential to push it further, to get more detail, to get more interesting effects, that sort of thing. I felt that Fordite was a nice neutral name that didn't sort of put it on me. Or Fordite is
Chris. Feel free if you want to call it the Laser Livestream technique. I'm happy. It's all good.
So Fordite is a name for a man-made material, mineral. It comes from the buildup of paint, typically in the old Detroit automotive factories, where paint would be sprayed on, baked, different colors.
I just got it.
And then
I just put it together. Fordite. Ford being Ford Motor Company. Of course. And we're going to show an image of those Fordite examples right here.
Yeah.
I actually, when I started looking at it, I was just doing a very precursor look at this idea of what Fordite was. I thought it was a rock. I thought it was something that actually came out of the ground. But of course, yeah, it's paint layers built up over time. I guess when it dried, it solidified. And they created, like, I guess it's a bit of a joke, but now it's actually something that people can identify with.
Yeah. These factories were abandoned for decades, and then people started, wandering in and chipping away at these big chunks of dried automotive paint. And like real enthusiasts look at it and go, "Oh, I can see the years where this model and these colors were painted," and so it's become a real collector's item. And some of these chunks go for thousands of dollars. Jewelry made out of it, hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
This is what I love about exploring not just technology and different work techniques and workflows, but who would ever think working with a laser just open up this whole kind of little facet of history that from the side where, automotive paints are drying, they dry hard because they've got to protect the body of the car. And then these workplaces shut down and people are going in there and it's almost like, I was going to say architecture, but it's not architecture at all. It's, when you find fossils, different colors in different years would have been popular. So they would have had different styles. And of course you would have been able to see them. Wonderful.
Yeah, it's a really, really cool material. Really, yeah.
Archaeology is what the word I was trying to get. It's a form of archaeology by looking back at those layers. You see, I get there eventually.
The strata.
That's right. That's 100%.
When I look at it, when I look at examples online, it makes me think of Damascus steel, but obviously made out of acrylic paint. Yeah.
Wow. All right. So that's, you've named this technique after what people are finding. Let's talk about how it applies to the tile itself, because one of the unique things about this technique is that you are able to laser an image onto a tile that comes out colored. It's part of the process.
That's it. So lots of we've been seeing lots of black and white tiles and monochromatic tiles, they were super cool. I've got lots of those that I've just been mucking around with over the time.
Sure.
And then I saw the channel escapes me. Somebody did a fantastic image of a Lord of the Rings scene with the Balrog, lots
Awesome.
of reds and oranges. I thought, oh, that looks incredible. I wonder how we can push it further. I believe they were using a blue wavelength diode laser as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so I jumped right into it, painted up a couple of tiles, made a mess of it. I think you've got a bunch of my
yeah, we've got some examples here which we'll show as we go along.
Progression things. So I found probably the key to the technique is consistency.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be a lot more forgiving if you're using very light power, very low power, high speed settings. And you can obviously tune those to get a little, once you know the properties of the particular tile you're working on, and we can talk more about how you find those properties out in a bit, you can tune the settings to be a little bit more efficient.
And just like those chunks of dried paint that people were finding in the Ford factories, the idea is to actually spray a layer of paint, let it dry, build up another layer of paint, then let it dry. And there is a bit of a trick to finding colors that complement each other.
Yes. Yep. So there's a few facets to that aspect. One is, which color combinations look nice.
Of course.
But also because we're working with diode lasers, the color of the material will affect how easily it engraves, and not keeping to any order of priority here. I have found that the bluer the material, the harder it is to engrave. So usually the settings that you so if you have blue a little higher up in your strata, to get through it, those settings to get through it will just evaporate the next couple of layers if they're easier to engrave.
Right. So is the recommendation, if you are going to use a blue color, to have it as a surface color as opposed to being on top?
I think it's a bit more forgiving.
Okay.
Definitely, if you want to have blue up the top, give it a go. That's what why I have recommended those low power settings, because you can sort of hit it and then check it, hit it again and check it.
Well, as we're talking, I'm going to put up. We're putting up some images of the tiles right now, and you can see it's a very, very unique pattern of color that's distributed throughout the image. A lot of it has to do with the actual image itself and the way it's turned into a grayscale image and power is being sent to the laser. It's also the image is determined through the thickness of the paint layers on the tile. Do you think that each tile is a one-off creation, or is this something that you can replicate the same results over and over again?
It depends on your painting technique and skill.
Okay.
And I'm definitely not an expert. Always follow the manufacturer's guidelines.
Well, we've spoken about this before. One of my pet peeves is that I was very lucky. I was taught how to spray paint by someone who's a panel beater, who was in the industry. And every time I go onto YouTube, I see people kind of spraying in one spot and then they move it over and they spray in another spot. And you know that it's uneven, where what I was actually taught to do was always to do basically the door handle first. So any shape that wasn't flat, you paint them first, and then you bring the can back and you do everything that's flat so it blends in nicely. So that's going to be really important when you prepare these tiles, to be able to make sure you've got a very, very even, concise paint layer.
Yes. In traditional spray painting, it doesn't matter if one corner of the tile has twice as much paint on it.
Sure.
But if you're engraving them away, it can affect your final result. So very thin, very even, very consistent layers are absolutely critical to good results.
And when we were talking about this earlier during the week, your suggestion to me was don't prepare one tile, but do them in batches. Do as many tiles as you can, so that when you've finished one, you don't have to go back and prep them, because it does take a little bit of time.
Yeah. Yep. If you're experimenting with a new color combination, what I would do is take a large tile, put down that color combination, and then just go to town testing different speeds and settings, contrast on the base grayscale image, that sort of thing. When you're satisfied that the color combination is going to work out ultimately, put down as many tiles as you're comfortable doing at once. Try to get them all exactly the same. One tile's oversprays, another tile's spray. Paint's expensive if you're doing a lot of it.
Sure.
And then use one of those tiles to dial in the settings exactly. You know what the colors, the sort of results you can achieve because of what you've done on the larger tile, but you need the specific settings for that batch. So if you're doing many at the same time, get them as consistent as you can.
So this type of technique, because there's variables, and I understand if let's say I can do and prepare 10 tiles at once, there's a good chance that the settings that I dial in are going to be good for that batch. But if I'm going to create a different batch with different colors and maybe even different thicknesses, I need to go back and start dialing in that settings for that batch, correct?
Yes. Yep. You may get great results using the same settings between different batches, but there's a lot of variables being introduced to your medium in terms of how long did you let the paint cure between layers, how humid was it on that day, what brand of paint you're using, how thick, how many layers you put on, how thick you've layered it up, how long you've waited for everything to cure before you start engraving, not just between layers. So having your sacrificial tile, your experiment tile.
Right, absolutely. And the bigger it is, the more testing you can do, so you can really dial that in. Now,
yes.
One of the things that really impressed me about the results on the tiles is the actual methodology, which we're going to touch upon. But one of the reasons why I wanted to bring you on and talk about it and talk about your experiences are that this is actually, compared to a lot of the tiles, the Nicky Norton white tile method and even the Darkly Labs method that we ended up developing using black and reversing the image, they're really fast in the sense that you can place the tile in there and just let it go to town. This method, if people are probably going, okay, hang on a second, it's going to take a little bit, I'll play with it, but it's probably something I'm not going to do all the time. There is also a number of passes you want to do with your laser, so it's not a one pass deal. Let's discuss a little bit about how that actually works and why you've developed this workflow the way you have.
Right, you are. So I would say the technique's not fully developed.
Sure.
It may it's almost like, okay, it's time to go out into the world now and let
share it with other people and
crack.
see what they come up with.
See what comes back. Yeah. What I have found personally is that the lighter the power of the laser, faster the speed, the less the paint seems to be damaged. There seems to be a bit of a discoloration, and that could be just the brand of paint that I'm using.
And right now you're using the Rust-Oleum 2X brand, so I do want to share that with everyone, because that's a very common paint both in Australia and around the world, and a lot of people who are working with tiles and making tile artwork or tile laser artwork, they usually are familiar with and have used this Rust-Oleum 2X brand. So I wanted to share that first of all with everyone.
Yeah, it is obviously with all materials that haven't been specifically designed for laser cutting.
Sure.
Be very aware of your ventilation and all of that sort of stuff. So I may have wandered off topic.
No, it's okay.
Possibly.
So part of the process is actually to run multiple passes at a very low speed, because as you were explaining before, if you run it at a higher speed, it will damage not only the layer, but it'll actually, and we've got an example on the screen right now. It'll like kind of damage the paint in a way that's really unique.
Yeah, it's it can discolor things. It can create not quite a warping effect, but a sort of a fringe along the edge of the paint where it's become cooked.
Yes. And it's almost like it's blasted it off and actually damaged the tile underneath as well, which is again really interesting because the chemicals in the paints do affect the actual transmission of energy into the tile. But you found a way around it. What's the normal kind of power outage setting that you use on one of these passes?
Between 15 and 20%. Sometimes even lower.
We're talking very low power. Normally with a laser, you want to crank up that power to get the results you want as quickly as possible. But in this case, you're actually lowering the power and doing multiple passes. And in fact, when you were talking before about doing some tests to hone in and dial in those settings, there's a grid that you will actually use on the test tile that will give you an idea of what color ranges are present when you actually are running the passes.
Yeah, it's a variation on our material testing plaque. It's essentially just a series of blocks at different power ratings. You run that speed, and then the next set will be exactly the same, but a second pass and a third pass below that. And that gives you a sort of a gradient, an achievable gradient, and you just select the bracket that you're aiming for, use those settings, and off you go.
Right. So, I mean, we can see it right now that that you choose obviously the boxes that reveal the most colors, and then the rest of it is really up to the design of whatever photo image that you're actually engraving.
Yeah. And of course, it's not always going to be. I had high hopes of being able to do a Starry Night, a Van Gogh Starry Night,
awesome.
with the yellow and the blue and the purple, but the amount of work that it would have taken to translate Starry Night into a grayscale image that was correctly structured for the strata of paint colors that I had, I put it in another time basket.
That's okay. Again, that doesn't mean it can't be done. I would not be surprised if someone decides to take a shot at doing something like that and actually shares that technique. What I love about this is it seems to me, what's so great about laser technology is that you can repeat a job over and over and over again. And there may be a flaw to the material, or there may be some sort of discoloration for as a one-off because there's maybe the laser kind of hiccuped or didn't move or stopped halfway through a job. But this technique is on the artistic scale in the sense that every single time that you work through this project and work through this workflow, you are going to get a very unique outcome each time. So each tile that you're going to make is pretty much a one-off.
Yeah, there's a real appeal to it.
Absolutely. I'm very excited for people to start trying this technique. I've started playing with it myself. I've been lucky enough to be gifted some tiles that were prepped beforehand, but only because I don't have all the paints. Unfortunately, we're still suffering from the COVID-19 kind of lockdowns and transport issues, so there's a real outage of paints. I went down to the local supply place, and they've got 3 colors, and they're not complementary. It's black, matte black, white. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to be able to do as much. But as we've been talking, we've been showing examples of these tiles and this technique. Now that you've played with it for some time, do you have a favorite tile that you were able to create?
I quite like the Spaceman.
Yep.
And I think there's one of an image of Miles Davis in there, one of the red images.
Beautiful.
Really
beautiful.
I have high hopes. I went to to the hardware store, the local generic hardware store, and I got you can get these smaller tiles that are on a plastic net glued to a plastic net in an array, and I have it's in the to-do later basket, but I want to leave them on the array, paint them all up, and then engrave them as a set, and then they can come together as a puzzle.
Oh, that's awesome! I love that idea. That's it's so cool. There's no way that the people who created the tiles and put them on a net and all the rest had ever thought that someone would actually put them in a laser and use their packaging as such as a way to create something that's unique that way. It reminds me very much of the work that I used to do when I was in the film industry, where you take something off the shelf and it was like a bird feeder, and you just repurpose it for something else. And it's one of the things that I love about being a maker and exploring this technology, that you never know where your inspiration is going to come from.
Yeah,
awesome.
I've always liked those. Somebody says, "Hey, that prop is I know that plumbing supply."
Yes, yeah.
Yes.
I have very embarrassing stories of going into stores that I didn't expect to be, and going, "Wow, that's fantastic," and realizing it was totally inappropriate what I was taking up to this shit. I need this for a film, but that's another story. That's another live stream that I do. Chris, coming back to the Fordite method of generating laser art. Do you have any hints or tips that you would give to someone who's starting out trying to explore and create using this method?
Yes. First is no wrong answers.
I was hoping you would say no, but please go ahead.
Very good. There's no wrong answers.
Awesome.
Like you've mentioned, each one's going to be unique.
It's the Bob Rossi of laser art. It's just
a happy accident.
Happy accidents.
Literally, most of as far as I pushed it development wise, it's just been one happy accident after another.
Awesome.
It wasn't a scientific approach, not at first anyway, and some of those tiles that I consider failures just because of the lack of finesse in them.
Sure.
There's still some cool effects in there that
definitely. I mean, one of the things that I know that I've got to check myself on when working with this technique is that I'll really like something and I know I'm going to try and replicate it, and it may not happen. So, I love that idea that there's, it's happy accidents, everything's unique. I'm super excited to see the community actually get a hold of this. Now, if you're interested in how to do this, and as a walkthrough, we're going to put a link just below in the description. It's going to link to the Darkly Labs page where this project is available. You can actually even download the Lightburn file to give it a shot for the test strip, and it is, I believe, it's configured for the Emblazer range of laser cutters, but that still is a fantastic way of understanding and almost deconstructing the settings that you might want to use on your laser. So it's not limited just to a diode laser. I do have a sneaking suspicion, and I do want to try this out on a CO2 laser, because CO2 lasers, the power and the wavelength is a little different. I'm wondering if it's going to generate that kind of overburn effect a little easier. It may be that you can't dial down the power of the laser to a point where you can replicate and create this Fordite effect. But then again, you never know until you try.
That's right. Yeah.
Another strength of diode lasers. You know how many people come in and say to me, diode lasers, it's a toy. And then, of course, when it comes to this sort of art and application, the fact that you can dial in, the power so well, and that you don't get fluctuations, and because it's in the visible spectrum, a lot of people who think losing power to reflection is a bad thing. Well, in this case, it's actually made something possible. Cool.
Yeah, and a lot of its diodes have quite a linear power scale. It's quite predictable. You put X amount more power in to the diode, you're going to get X amount of power out, generally speaking. Whereas CO2, as far as I understand, you have to sort of deal with quite a curve there.
Right. It's all about how they line up all those photons in the same direction, whether they use a gas or whether they use electronics. It's all, everything has their strengths and everything has their weaknesses. And again, this is something that I am very keen to try out on a diode laser. I would not be surprised if we just burn through layers. It's just might not be able to finesse it, but we'll see what happens. I mean, it's use the right tools for the right job, basically, which is kind of, what it is. Chris, an absolute pleasure to have you here. Love to have you back on, and maybe we can explore some of the history of you as designing, maybe some of the stuff that you've done with the Blazer. But right now, super excited to be able to present this work to everyone.
Thanks, Gil. It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chris.
Cheers.
Catch you soon. Whoa, oh. Hang on a second. That's not good. That's not good at all. Hang on a second. There I am. Oh my gosh. I turned the camera off and I completely forgot because I was trying to cool it down because it's quite warm here. First of all, thank you so much, Chris, for sharing that. Chris, as I introduced, is one of the brain trust of Darkly Labs. And over the years, we have been able to share and work on a number of projects. I'm so glad he was able to come in and actually be able to share this idea. I guess really it's not just an idea, but a whole workflow of being able to think about how to create artwork in a very different way. I love the idea of being able to layer up tiles with paint, and then by controlling the laser and basically engraving away different layers of paint, you actually get a very unique organic kind of coloring structure to the image that you're actually engraving. And it's pretty amazing. I actually haven't been able to do that myself yet, but keep an eye on this space, because the minute I get a chance to be able to walk through a tutorial like that, it'll be happening really, really soon. Now, Mike's saying that the camera got hit by the laser. Pretty much, that's exactly what happened. I wanted to make sure my microphone was on. I got that one done. The camera was something else. And we got Rock and Rob, who's never too late to join us here on the live stream. He's already laughing at what's going on, but that's cool too, man. Also, I want to say hello to the one, the only Dominic. Dominic, the CEO of Darkly Labs, the brain master, or the inspiration of that we have the Emblazer range in the first place, came in. And as I said, there's no such things as being a little late. It's just awesome to see you guys here, even, to already now into the live stream. You guys are here. It's pretty awesome. Now, Peter asked this really interesting question of whether or not something like that would actually work on a CO2 laser. The differences between a CO2 laser and a diode laser really come down to power. Diode laser, you can actually dial in the power to very small amounts and control them very, very easily, where CO2 laser kind of made its name by being able to take a lot of energy and punch it through material. So I've seen some amazing results when it comes to tiles with a CO2 laser. A lot of that's been done with our friend at Nikki Norton at the Den of Lasers is what they call it on Facebook. If you aren't a member of that Facebook group and you're interested in laser tiles and the like, definitely check them out. I know that they were doing CO2 lasers, or using CO2 lasers to make laser tiles. So I've got a feeling that would be awesome at that. But I'm with Chris. I'm really keen to see how people use this idea, not just for laser tiles, but also for other projects. It looks amazing. And, you saw in the interview, it blew my mind when I realized that Fordite was Ford Motor Company. Of course, the paint that they were using on the bodies of the cars would dry so hard that over years it would create these amazing pieces of this material that you could actually use. And in a lot of ways, that's one of the techniques that Chris was actually using, that idea of pulling different layers away and revealing different things. Also, one of the things that's really unique about this type of project, and I know that Chris talked about it, it's not something that you can just spray a tile, give it 10 minutes to dry, throw it in your laser and have a result. One of the reasons why I haven't been able to work on this project to the level that I'd like to, is that I just have been so busy that I haven't been able to go and prepare tiles. So I see here Peter says, I hate painting, but I'll have to give it a try. Yeah, it's something that's worthwhile learning about. Like I said earlier in the interview, I was really, really lucky to be able to have someone who was a panel beater show me how to spray paint. So always go for anything that's not flat, do that first, and then take some really, take a little bit of distance, missed it. I always watch these YouTubers who are like in one spot and then like, oh yeah, it looks good. And I'm always like, there's a lot of paint in this one area here, everything else. But if it gets the job, right? It gets the job done. The link to the Fordite tutorial, if people want to try it, is just below. There is a link that goes to the Darkly Labs website. You can definitely check that out. There's all information there, including, I think, a file that you can take into Lightburn. It is set up for the Emblazer, but it does give you a place to start if you're not using that. See, Mike also saying there's a link in the description. I'm not going to bring you all the way here and then not give you the link. Kind of. And Mike also sharing that if you can't find the link, let us know and we'll definitely get it to try. Audrey sharing that she's excited to see what everyone does with the cinematic inspired project. So many possibilities. That's what we're going to talk about next. I got a feeling she wants me to move the laser stream on, where we've been going for a little longer. So let's go jump into it and let's talk about the first Laserologist challenge here on the Laser Livestream. And it is February. The challenge is open to all Laserologists. If you watch the stream, whether it's on a replay or live, you can enter. It is a theme challenge, and this one is open to any skill level. And the theme happens to be anything that's cinematic, something of cinematic inspiration. So that is the theme of the challenge. The material you can choose, for this first one, you can choose any material you like, whether it's some scraps on hand or something else that you would like to use, feel free. Now, the due date is the 8th of March, so you still have time to get your projects in. And we are actually asking you to send those entries into the laser.livestream@gmail.com email account. And we are going to reveal them on the next, it is the next Laser Livestream. We're going to show all the results of this challenge. I'm super keen to see what people are creating. I have an idea myself. I would love to enter. Curious to see if I'm going to have enough time. There's been a few things on my plate lately. And I want to also thank Dom and Darkly Labs for putting up a prize, and that is a Vitascope, talking about cinema and cinema-inspired projects. This is a laser cut projector that actually works, and it's a really fun thing. So we are definitely going to be handing that on to a Laserologist, and thank you so much, Darkly Labs, for putting that up. We are working on getting a few more things in place, but this is the very first one. So you know what? You get involved now and win that damn thing. Everyone was like, Darkly Labs? E3. We're going to get there. Maybe, maybe we can build this up so that we can actually give away an E3 when it is finally released. It'd be really, really cool. Peter saying, I hope to finish it today. Looking at it, half of it now. Peter. Oh, man. I'm dying. I've got this project that I kind of started a while ago, and I want to get it finished. And I'm just like, damn. And this last week has kept me so busy. But I shouldn't make excuses. See, I can enter it. I just can't win it. That's the problem. But we'll see what's going on. So cool. People thanking Mike, thanking Dom for the prize. Need to get onto this, says Mike as well. I want to definitely see what you're doing. Also Stuart thanking Dominic, and Audrey saying, yeah, it is a cool prize. It works really good with the theme. It's a laser created project. It's awesome. Awesome stuff. So it's amazing to be able to see. Guys, we're going to jump straight into the good, the bad, and the ugly. Oh, look at this. Rock and Rob saying, I didn't know there was a prize. Of course there's a prize. Why would I ask you to do all this work? Hopefully, we'll be able to build a little bit more momentum and get some other stuff going. But yes, there is a prize. If Rock and Rob wins, I'm going to be bankrupt with just trying to send the prize over to America. But I'll do that for Rock and Rob. That's awesome. Guys, we're going to jump into the good, the bad, the ugly. And this is where I basically try to trick YouTube's algorithm into flagging me for copyright material by whistling. And I have in the past ended up with a copyright violation. But we are looking at the good, the bad, and the ugly of material, especially laser material. And today we are actually going back. We have done this once before, but I got a request about someone asking about if we could put in glue or sticky back glue into your laser. This is a piece of material you do not want to put in your laser under any circumstance. This is a very lovely. This is a very ugly substance, and it doesn't work well with your laser because sticky glue backing on a material is a really fast way to adhere your final design to a piece, but it's also one of the worst things that you can put into your laser because when you vaporize the foam and the glue layers, they basically can form a coating on your lens, which is spelled here as LEDs, which is terrible, or the diode itself, and that can actually cause heat, a cloudy effect over the area transmitting the energy, and also can crack your lens, which you do not want to do. Your lens is where your power and the focus comes from. For this reason, glue residue is incredibly dangerous. And as I said, I had a few people on Facebook ask me straight out, look at that. Oh, look, it's got my old graphics here. That's kind of weird. It's not the Laser Livestream, it's the Gil Poznansky show. But they were asking all about glue residue, so I thought it'd be a good opportunity to go through that again. You know, if you are going to go and use glue backing, you can use it. Just laser your piece first, place your piece on the glue backing, and then just take a razor blade or a scalpel, cut around it. It's going to save your machine. It's going to save wear and tear and allow you to create a lot more, a lot faster. Is it okay if you're going to cut the backing? So the great question, Audrey, it's not, because when you're cutting the backing or you're cutting through the material, so let's say you've got a piece of material, then you've got your sticky back and then there's a backing behind, that laser is going to go through all the material, just like a sandwich. At that point, that adhesive gets atomized, floats up in the air, and it's going to get drawn through heat to the warmest area, which is usually where the laser is first hitting the air out of your either mirror or the diode itself. You don't want to do that. That's going to cause a kind of vortex effect through heating up air that's going to take all those little molecules of stickiness, and it's going to end up over time causing a huge problem. So again, my suggestion, use a manual knife, razor, scalpel. It does end up causing a bit of a problem time-wise, because you can't do it all at the same time, but you can definitely you'll definitely save wear and tear. Dave Lawrence saying he can't find the link to the color tiles. My friend, I'm on a page that hang on a second, I can edit. I can take a look at and see what's going on here. If you actually go to the description and you go further down. Oh, maybe I can. Maybe I can't. No, I can't. Oh, no, I can. Hang on a second. If you go through, there's a few links there. There's a huge thank you to Darkly Labs. And then there's a link to the PayPal donation. Just under there, it says learn more about color tiles and the Fordite technique here. That is where you want to, and there's a link there to Darkly Labs. So, you know what? Just to make it a little easier, don't know if it'll do it in the chat room. Maybe it will. Let's go and see. I'm going to see if I can actually paste it there, but it definitely is in the, let's see. Oh, there you go. There's the link. So you can go directly there. How about that for service while we're in the middle of the live stream? But it is in the description below. Mal sharing that he got some sheets of contact film and done a few stickers. Well, that material is specifically designed for lasers. I'm talking about that contact, the foam stuff that you get that a lot of people love using foam and then using the adhesive. Either way, always check the SDS or the safety data sheet. Make sure that you are going to be okay. Audrey asking, so she's asking if you are not cutting the backing. You mean I wouldn't put that adhesive into my laser at all. I would avoid it. For what you pay for your laser and the amount of money for materials and all the rest of it, I'm not going to let some cheap stick. I'll do it the way I described. I will actually take it, place it on the material on a cutting board, cut around it, and we're all good. The contact film is from Darkly is great. Yeah, it absolutely is. It's a great product. And Mal was asking me something before, but that's okay. Was it Mal who needed the... Mal says okay, Gil, you understand? I'm glad everyone is good that way. Awesome. All right, let's move on. That's pretty much almost all of the live stream. I do want to share with people that we are still accepting tips and tricks from the community. If there's a cute trick that you use with your laser, I love the live streams where we go through all the different tips and tricks. Please feel free to share them with us at our email account, which is at laser.livestream@gmail.com. Also, for those people who are working on either a laser project or a light burn project and would like a little bit of one-on-one tuition and help, I do run virtual classes and one-on-one tuition. Those sessions are open and you can get in contact with me at laser.livestream@gmail.com. It's always fun to work with a new laserologist working their way through how to best to operate their laser, of course in a safe way. Or I've also had the honor of being able to help put the final touches on a few projects that people are working with and just need, or would just like a little bit of help. Guys, feel free to be able to reach out at laser.livestream@gmail.com. It's an absolute pleasure to be able to help you guys out. Of course, before we leave, we have to thank both Darkly Labs, home of the Blazer range, for sponsoring not only this live stream, but also the first Laserologist... I can't say it today. Laserologist challenge. And of course, Lightburn software that makes all of this possible. I can't say it enough how my personal making with a laser changed using Lightburn software. If you are not using Lightburn, that's cool. You're allowed not to. In fact, I even have a video, if you haven't seen it, that's asked the question, is Lightburn ripping you off because they raised their prices? And, some people are like, I don't like using the software. That's fine. Most people realize that what they get out of the software is incredible. And it's really, really cool to be able to have this involvement with them and be able to work with them further. Guys, thank you so much. I hope you got excited about the possibility of creating tiles with color. It's an incredibly amazing project, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what you guys create with it. I'm also really looking forward to seeing what you guys create in the first Laserologist challenge. Gosh, too many L words. Thank you so much. Everyone's already thanking for what we've been able to do. I'm going to see you guys in 2 weeks' time. I normally don't talk about politics. I'm not that sort of person, but if you were around a computer or a television set, you know that right now there's some really interesting things going on in the world. If you happen to live near one of these countries that seems to have a dispute right now, my thoughts and prayers go to both sides. I don't think I'm not an expert, but I don't want to see anyone get hurt. This is I guess I just wanted to say basically that we're all thinking of you. Stay safe. Keep lasering. Right, everyone, right around the world. Get creative. Put positive energy in the world. Do so with your laser. And I will see you in 2 weeks' time with the results of the first Laserologist challenge and the next laser live stream. Guys, stay safe. Love you all. Thank you so much for sticking in, especially with that glitch. And I'll see you in 2 weeks. Take care. How do I turn this off?